Salute, General, Iro, Musa, Etiquette. I'm affectionately referred to as General Etiquette, and I've been thinking. I've been thinking about a variety of subject matter, but today specifically, I've been thinking about a subscriber requested question, right? So one of my subscribers, right, talking along the topics, because I started to allude to the emasculation of black men. I started to get into it a little bit, right? Talking about with mothers and then your potential partners. But one of my subscribers asked me about that a little bit. Now, the thing is, depending on how you look at society, now we're starting to delve into red pill ideology. Now, if you also check the channel, right, I talk about what red pill is. But for everybody here and for everybody seeing me for the first time, I'm going to dive into it. So red pill ideology is an ideology. I like to look at it as a lens. It's a lens through which you look at life, right? So it's about self-investment, turning your lens from outward, externally, to inward, internally, using yourself to fuel your ambition, your motivation, being your biggest cheerleader, right? Setting your own lofty goals, working hard, your own lofty goals, not your parents, not your loved ones, not your boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, etc., but setting lofty goals and standards for yourself as you see fit, and then working relentlessly toward that. Now, another component of red pill ideology is understanding the way that society conditions everybody. Now, this is how we'll start to segue into the emasculation of men and black men specifically, right? So a red pill ideology, when you look at the way that men are conditioned, a lot of the things that we're being told today is basically being said to throw away masculinity, right? So there's a difference between operating in a toxic, incoherent, ignorant fashion and exhibiting depictions of masculinity. Now, in my humble opinion, masculinity is raw, it's assertive, but it's respectful and accountable, right? So people who over leverage, people who overdo, people who impress themselves upon other, that may be conceived as toxic. But in my humble opinion, right, assertiveness, aggression, those things inherently and in and of itself aren't problems, right? But when we look throughout society, a lot of the rhetoric and a lot of the things that we see, for example, the removal of the black men from the household, when you look at mass incarceration, or you look at a lot of the things for one reason or another, the fact that about 80% of households are being raised up by single parents. What does that mean? It means that there isn't, right? Because a lot of the times, or sometimes, if you're lucky, you can have a male presence in or around that sphere. But a lot of the times, men are coming up in a space where they don't have a positive male figure that they can look up to. Now, that's not always the case, but a lot of the times that is the case, which contributes to a lot of the statistics and things that we see. So when you grow up without a positive male figure, if that is the case, right, what that removes, it removes the male energy. There's a reason why there are two energies that exist in the raising of a child. When the male energy is removed for one reason or another, there becomes an imbalance. There becomes an imbalance. So a lot of the times, a lot of the things that happen, for example, the victimization of a mother in the eyes of their son, right? Becoming your mother's pit bull, right? Seeing your mother as a victim, believing that it's your job to make her happy. As you get older, believing that it's your job to overcompensate, and then getting into relationships of codependency. There's a difference between standing firm and solid and being there, but then entering into unhealthy forms of codependent relationships. And those relationships sometimes are formed with the absence of a male figure or companion for the mother themselves. So then the relationship between the mother and the son, as the son gets older, becomes codependent and can become toxic. if not navigated correctly. There are a lot of black men who have issues with their mothers. There are a lot of black men who their mothers were forced by society, or the removal of the black men, right? So forced to stand in their alpha, right? To be assertive, to be aggressive, and that control. With that sort of an unintended consequence of that is we see a lot of control within the black community, a lot of control issues within the black community. So then oftentimes as a son gets older, a mother can see their masculinity as a threat to their femininity, right? So those, and in that way it clashes and becomes combative. But because of the way that a son is conditioned to maneuver and navigate his mother, and not having access to different informations or why those dynamics even exist, it can become chaotic and confusing. A lot of black men have issues with their mother, unresolved issues, right? And a lot of the times it's because of those unbalanced energies, because of the lack of a positive male role model and figure.